Big one today, everybody. We need everyone to cross their fingers. We need a big comeback. We are down after the first leg in the quarter-final of the Champions League against Juventus, and we need something to turn it round. Can we make it through? Is the season going to end today, or are we going to go into a semi-final? Let's find out. Hi everyone, Jake here. Welcome back to the Aberdeen series. Hope you're all doing great. As mentioned today, we are playing the second leg of our Champions League semi-final where we'll be facing off against Italian giants Juventus. They are dominating the Serie A currently, way clear at the top. They've pretty much got the Division 1 already. They're a great side and it's not going to be easy at all. But we're going to give it our best shot. As mentioned, we're down after the first leg. I'll cover all of that in a second. But first, I'll ask you guys, if you can, smash the like button for us. Last episode didn't do as well as some of the others, so hopefully to anyone who is watching, if you can hit that like button, YouTube will think, oh, it must be a good video, and then it will put it back in front of the eyes of the people who missed last episode and keep them up with the series, which will be awesome. Comment down below whatever you like and I'll read them all and hopefully get back to them all soon, and subscribe if you haven't already. We've just hit 16,000 subscribers at the time of recording, which is amazing, so thank you guys so much for that. It was 15 the other month, 16 this month, maybe 17 next month, 18 the month after, who knows. Before you know it, we might be at 20k, and then my big goal is 25k. Hopefully we can get to that soon, but thank you guys for all of the support. But let's get into it, shall we? A big one today. I'll likely show 2 games. All depends on what happens, but let me just cover a few things first. We'll start off with our form since you last saw us against Dortmund, where we squeezed through. We beat Hearts in the Cup. Ewan Kidd getting a goal there, the youngster from our academy. Another goal from him. He's doing well. We then played Kilmarnock away in the league and won 3-1. Livingston away won 2-0. Beat Rangers away 5-1 in a demolition job at their stadium against our biggest rivals as well. An absolutely insane match, and one of the performances that shows just how far we came in this series. Then we got drawn against Juventus in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Now, whoever wins this tie is going to play the winner of Liverpool Ajax, so chances are Liverpool in the semi-final, which won't be easy by any stretch. I believe they are the current holders of the competition potentially. Let me just find out. What am I doing? Why am I trying to find it? Actually, no, it was Barcelona who won it last time out, so I'm completely lying to you. But yes, you'd assume Liverpool would be going through and we'd be facing them if we did go through, but currently things aren't looking great. Juventus dominated the first leg. We were lucky to stay in it. You can see from our players' performances, only a couple of players really turned up. Juventus dominated, and I don't really think we have much hope in all honesty. And then we played Inverness, won 2-0, which leaves us with the conundrum of today's episode. If we lose against Rangers, I guess I'll show the Scottish Cup semi-final, but then I'm thinking, do I do another episode at the end of the season that shows us winning the league and potentially playing that cup final? I feel like we could maybe just talk about it at the start of next season. Do let me know what you think. But I think if we lose today, I'll show you that Rangers game just so you can see an extra match. But then after that, I'll start next season in the next episode, discuss transfers, all of that good stuff, whilst also showing you the highlights, or at least explaining what happened with the rest of the season and the cup. Because if you do look at it, the Cinch Premiership, the first division in Scotland, we're 9 points clear with, 6 games or something like that to go. We've pretty much got it won. I don't see us dropping enough points to lose the title, so I feel like it would be pretty pointless showing any more games there. And then the Scottish Cup, I'll be showing the big one today against Rangers. Then we have either Inverness, who are 11th in the league, or Hibs, who are 8th, so I'd assume we'd beat both of them. So I feel like we could maybe just cover that in the next episode if we get knocked out. This is all theoretical, of course, because if we do knock out Juventus, then there'll be another episode where I show the semi-final against whoever that is. Maybe even if we beat Juve, I won't show anything else, and I'll record this a few days later and show the semi-final if we play that and see how we do there. I don't know what will go on, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, won't we? First thing, we need to focus on this Juve game where we're 2-1 down after a dominant performance from them, but we got our budgets for next year and things are looking very good. If we do go on for another season, which we likely will, if you don't know, we're waiting until we win the Champions League before we end this series, so if we do go on for another year, we've got a huge £40 million budget and 200 odd grand in the wage budget, which is crazy for a team like us. Nothing like what we've ever had before. It's been 7 or 8 million normally, but because of how the finances have gone up over the last few years, the board are clearly seeing this as consistent prize money coming in, consistent financial gain, and they're thinking thinking, you know what, if we're going to be a Champions League side, we can spend a lot of money, which is awesome. There's also nothing in the debt section, so this is all free money for us to spend sitting in the pot, and we are going to spend it for sure. So I'm very excited for that if we do go on for another year. And the other thing that I'll show you is our youth intake, which was meant to be a below average intake, 1.5 stars, yet we get out of it a 5-star potential left back. Probably won't be any good, mind you, but still a 5-star potential left back, and then a 4.5-star potential goalkeeper. Feels like that's not a bad youth intake at all. It seemed to think that we had a really bad one, but I wouldn't say it was terrible at all. But either way, that's everything covered. Now we're ready for this Juventus game. Like I say, we'll focus on this and then think about what to do afterwards. But we have a 2-1 deficit to overcome. We are at home. It's not impossible, but Juve did play really good football. Like in the Dortmund game, you kind of had a feeling we could get something based on the way that they played. But Juventus, they played a similar tactical style to us with way better players. They had Vlahovic up front and we just couldn't handle them, and they were just a better team. They won the match fair and square, and I feel like that could happen again today, but we'll see. We're going to go for Torkelton in goal, Estevez, Veletic, Beso, Sarr, Sergio Gomez, Ibrahimovic, Kozlowski, Apatre, Pereira and Wilhelmsen. There's a part of me that's thinking we don't play Ibrahimovic. We'll also put Sherendor on the bench instead of Leighton Clarkson, and that is our team ready. Tactically, there is a part of me, usually I don't tweet tactics, but I'm thinking in this game, if it comes down to it, maybe we'll switch formation, because they're currently playing the same formation as us, but with better players and far more quality than we'll ever have for at least the next 5 or 6 years. I mean, Vlahovic, Heung-min Son, Zanolio, Moretti, who's amazing, Zielinski. Their defence, I suppose, is slightly weak, but De Bast and Akoli are wonderkid centre-backs. I don't really know their full-backs or goalkeeper. Obviously, I know who they are. Malacia, of course, Manchester United player, but I don't feel like they're a huge threat to us the way that some of their players are, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Maybe we get off to a great start, dominate the game. I really don't know what's going to happen, but there is a highlight early on. Ibrahimovic with a corner, and it's headed away as far as Kasper Kozlowski on the edge of the box. He finds Beso. We'll be hoping for a strong defensive performance today and for our stars up front to turn up, and one of them might have done there. Apatre might have scored for us after only 8 minutes. The power of our Aberdeen stadium might have came in good for us here. It's being called potentially offside, is it? They're doing a VAR check. We'll see. I don't feel like it was, but they are doing the check, and it has been awarded a brilliant start, more than you could have asked for, and it's 2-2 on aggregate, and we go into this now level at our own stadium, and we have to be quietly confident, I suppose. I mean, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but good goal, very well worked, good ball over from Gomez, and it's 2-2, and there's a potential here that we could make a Champions League semi-final, and if somehow Ajax knock out Liverpool, maybe we'll be playing them, but I need to stay grounded, not get ahead of myself. One thing I should note though, Duke is obviously a player that we've had since right at the start of his save, and I've seen recently in real life, Aberdeen doing way better than they were at the start of the season. Duke is absolutely tearing it up, and he's being linked with moves to the Premier League, and I think Burnley, who are about to get promoted. Oh my god, we've actually just scored. Sorry, I need to shut up for a second. We've just scored again. Pereira with a brilliant goal. I assumed he was going to blast it over, and he's made it 2-0 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. It was a really nice ball over from, I think it was Gomez again. No, it was Apatre, who's having a great game. Pereira finds it and then just knocks it home. Brilliant finish. Don't know where the goalkeeper is, but it's 3-2 on aggregate, and we're now leading in a Champions League quarter-final in a game where we really shouldn't be. I know people might look down on Juventus based on real life currently, but I mean, they're doing well in real life, don't get me wrong, but in this save, they are absolutely dominant, and it's a very good team that we're dealing with here, and I feel like we're kind of riding our luck up to this point, and they've gone very close to scoring there, but we make it out alive. But what I was saying is Duke's been doing very well in real life and being linked with moves to Burnley, who are about to get promoted into the Prem. Obviously, they've secured promotion, but next year they'll be going up. And apparently they want him as like one of their attacking players. So really cool to see Duke doing well in real life when I thought he was just this entity within Football Manager and not really doing anything in the real life game. But he is. Unfortunately, it looks like we have given Juventus a penalty whilst I've been talking. Not much we could do about it, seemed. Just a silly tackle from one of our players. And now it's going to be Vlahovic, I assume, to step up. He does. And Torkelton makes a save. And it really might be our day today. This might just be the one for us. How can we be in a Champions League semi-final? We're not ready for this. Do you guys actually think this could be our year? Because I'm feeling like everything that's happening, it very well might be. Vlahovic missing the penalty there, keeping us 3-2 on aggregate up. We just need to keep this up now. 40 minutes in, we're looking like a very good team. Haven't actually checked the statistics to see if we are dominating or whether we've got a bit lucky here with the goals we've scored. But they've been really well-worked opportunities. I'm not saying anything against the goals. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far. Of course I am. We're 2-0 up against Juventus, the Italian, title runaways at this point. One of their best sides in the world currently. and we're making them look quite foolish at our own stadium. How long we can do that for, I don't know. But 40 minutes in here, here's Vlaetic. We're building up for potentially another goal, playing it around nicely. We just don't want to lose it here in a silly position. We're going to play it forward to Gomez. He's got the eye for a big pass. Apatre does as well. He finds Pereira once more, who's in, pass a fullback again. And this time he does what I thought he'd do the other time, where he blasts it over. He can do it on occasion. It's the kind of thing that happens often. But it's really nice to see the link up between our two wonder kids on the left and right. But this is exactly what I mean. Possession, all in Juve's favour. Chances have been in their favour. XG, of course, is because they've had a penalty. But we've got 0.5 XG and scored 2 goals. I feel like we really are riding our luck in this Champions League run. If we can make it 3-0, we'll be laughing our way home right now. And it is Ibrahimovic in that corner spot. He cuts in, he takes a shot, and it's a pretty poor shot in the end. Rolls right through to the goalkeeper, and that will be the end of the highlight. But we won't mind. It's still 2-0 to us, 3-2 on the night. If Juve score, obviously no away goals or anything like that, we just go into extra time. But I'm feeling quietly confident now as time ticks on. As much as they've, apparently had XG and had chances and had possession, all we've seen is a penalty, and that's it so far. So you have to think we're going to do okay here. And 70 minutes in, we're going to make some subs, some fresh legs to hopefully give us some extra impetus towards the end of the game. We'll bring on Guy Buer, who's just coming back from injury. Heldasar is tired, so I'm going to bring on Mason Hancock, also not having the best of games, mind you. Wilhelmsen will come off for Duke, who we spoke about earlier. Sergio Gomez is on a yellow. We'll bring him off for Scherendor, and I'll save the final sub just in case anything happens. Don't want to go down to 10 men. If we want to change the tactic, we can do later on if we keep that extra substitute. But here we go. It is another highlight, and it's over the bar. Fran Beltran with a long shot. Goes over. 70 minutes. The score is still exactly the same. I'm keeping an eye on that Liverpool-Ajax game as well. I've just brought it up here. It's currently 1-1, which I believe means it's a draw on aggregate for them as well. So that'll be interesting. Like I say, if Ajax knock Liverpool out, we might really have a chance of getting to a Champions League final, because Juve and Dortmund, for me, are harder teams to play than Ajax are. And whilst I've been talking about that, we've actually bloody gone and done it. We have won a Champions League quarter-final match against Juventus. Torkelton with a Player of the Match award from a goalkeeper. Not often you see that. And I just can't believe it. We're actually through. Now I want to know who we're up against. Let's give the team tour. Yeah, well done, everybody. Ajax are through. Ajax have knocked out Liverpool. Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Ajax, apparently, in the 113th minute. No way. Surely not. I'm not looking down on Ajax and saying it'll be an easy game, but who knows what might happen here? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the recording here. I'll carry on recording when I get to the semi-final, whether that's in a day's time or not. So if this video is delayed when it comes out, I do apologise, but I'm going to show the second leg of the Ajax game. And if we win that, it'll be Champions League final time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. The other one isn't decided yet, but it's Man City or Barca against PSG or Arsenal. So, a big team is getting knocked out there. Chances are it'll be a City, PSG or Barcelona final. I don't see Arsenal getting all the way through, but you never know. Let's get to the Ajax game. Let's bring it on, and hopefully we can get a win. Okay, so I've had some food. I've came back. I've played the first leg of this tie. I've played a few games. There's a lot to cover, so let me quickly fill you in on what's happened. We went into the semi-final that I was originally going to show against Rangers. We won 3-2, 5e Volomark and Guy Buer getting the goals there. We then beat Ross County 3-0, Alfie Babbage and Guy Buer scoring. Then it came to the away tie against Ajax, the hardest of our 2 legs, of course, against them, being away from home, and we won 2-0, very comfortably as well, mind you. João Beso on the penalty spot, Oscar Pereira with a brilliant goal, and that has given us a 2-0 advantage going into this match. Now in the league as well, we had a draw against Rangers. I think some nerves from the rotation side before this Ajax match maybe probably played an effect, but we are in a Scottish Cup final. We have won the Premier Sports Cup. We've got Inverness in that Scottish Cup. The league is pretty much sealed. The Champions League, if we win this game, we will be in the final of against none other than PSG, because it looks like, Man City could come back, of course, but they're 4-0 up. Maybe at home Manchester City will be better, but it looks like PSG will be in the final, possibly against us, but we'll find out now. Once we've played this match, assuming we get through, which we might not, but if we do, of course, there'll be one more episode of this series where we play the Scottish Cup final and the Champions League, as well as covering what happened in the Scottish Premier League, so make sure you don't miss that. But here's a team we're going with today to hopefully get us into a UCL final, which sounds crazy to say. It's going to be Torkelton in goal, Estevez, Vlaetic, Beso, Sarg, Kozlowski, Apatre, Pereira and Wilhelmsen. Pretty much the team that we've been using on most occasions so far this year. And I think with that being said, we're probably about ready to go, aren't we? Yeah, right, let's do it. I feel like this team should be okay. we were convincing away from home. I reckon Ajax probably could have scored one, but I feel like overall we deserved the win. Away from home as well, we had like 2xG, which is obviously quite impressive. Other thing to note, Ajax are managed currently by Thomas Tuchel, so he's a bit of a tactical mastermind. We'll see what he can do against us. But they go for a similar formation to us. They've got the likes of Gakpo, Darame, Aseko Nkili, who is a great wonder kid in the game. They've got Rensch at the back as well. I'll slow this down. That's the speed I had it at when I wasn't recording. But here we go. First highlight of the second leg of a Champions League semi-final with Aberdeen, only 5 years in as well. Massive, man. And if we don't win the Champions League, of course, like I say, we've got £40 million or so to spend in the window. And this team, I think, is already pretty good. I wouldn't say it's semi-final good, but I'd say with the players we've got and the age of the players as well, with the potential to get better with a lot of them, I'd say it's a Champions League knockout stage team at this point, which is already very impressive. But I wouldn't say we're expected to get anywhere near here. There was a big media thing about, Ibrahimovic hits the post. Very close there, but yes, there was a media report that came through basically to say huge shock in the Champions League after we knocked out Juve. Apparently that was a pretty big shock, and I feel like it was based on the way the game went. But yeah, we made it through against them, and I mean, Ajax is as nice of a draw as you could have wanted, really. I would have taken these in the playoff round quite early on. Not that they're a bad team. You can see they're dominating possession, and they actually did that in the first leg also. But we just seem to take our chances way better. I'm not quite sure they're set up in the right way to beat us. I'll say that now and they'll score, but oh, please don't, not after this. I was going to say, but we're about to be at half-time at 0-0, which is perfectly fine. It looks like it's a highlight for us. With Apatre going forward, he takes a long shot, and Anatoly Trubin, the Ukrainian goalkeeper in the net, claims the ball, and we go into half-time 0-0 on the day, but 2-0 on aggregate. Possession way in Ajax's favour, but XG, I mean, it's not that different to ours, so we're perfectly fine with it. Basically, there's been no real chances in the game whatsoever. We've got a good bench to use should we need it as well, so I'm pretty confident if we can get to 70 minutes without conceding, that we could probably see it out. But we'll see what happens here, because one Ajax goal completely changes the feel of this game. So let's see. Is Torreira. Torreira goes through to Gakpo. Gakpo to Asiki, should I say. And Heldasar wins it back, plays it out to Apatre. Here's Ibrahimovic, he gets tackled, but Apatre has got the ability to play that kind of pass. It's a great ball through to Wilhelmsson, who scores. Now, I think he was way offside, so I don't think this is counting. But I'll cross my fingers anyway, because a goal here would seal the deal. Here we go, goal review. Is it going to be awarded? Disallowed, as we probably expected. For a second there, I did get my hopes up, but it hasn't counted. Wilhelmsson, I wouldn't say he's in a dry spell at the minute, but he's not really scoring as many as he did in other seasons this year. Not the end of the world, but it is one position I am thinking of improving in that striking spot. If we do get a good offer Phil Wilhelmsson, of course, I don't want to overload the team with loads of players, but I would really like a really high quality striker now, one that gets 40 goals a season comfortably to take us, into these games and get those crucial goals and dominate when we call upon them. But here's Apatre in the box causing problems. He's been great for the second half of the season especially, and there is Wilhelmsson, heard me trying to replace him, rose highest, he got his head to it, did hit the post, very close there, but 70 minutes, exactly where we want to be. Let's make some subs to slow the game down. First one, Wilson Esperand on for the tyrant Heldasar. Sergio Gomez can come off for Sharon Dor. We're also going to rest Kozlovsky. I say rest, bring off Kozlovsky and bring on Guy Buer. And then I think from there, I might make the call on Apatre to bring him off, and then Wilhelmsson can come off for Duke. I shouldn't make all the subs though, should I? Even though I'm pretty confident here, I'm not going to make all the subs. I'll save one more until like the 85th minute or something, and then we'll use that. I don't want to get stuck in a situation where we make all our subs, someone gets injured, and we're screwed. But overall, this game's gone fine. I'm going to demand a little bit more for the last few minutes. We'll get Duke on as well, just for the final few, waste some time. And straight away, there's a highlight. You watch, Duke will score now. It's Veletic. It has fell to Beso at the back post. He could have tapped that in. He didn't. He headed it over the bar. Not that it matters too much, because time is ticking on. That Champions League semi-final is getting closer. There's a minute and a half left, and there is a highlight for Ajax. You'd assume it's too little too late, even if they did score. But I'd love to, get a late goal here to actually win the game itself as well, to keep that momentum up. But Ajax have gone forward. It's a Campos. He's scored his 20th goal of the season. There's a minute left. You'd assume we'd be fine, but you never know in Football Manager. Not too much we could have done about that, I felt. Omar Richards is very fast. Once he gets goal side here of our player, he's going to play the ball in. Yes, you should argue he should be in front of Ocampos, but once he makes that run and gets a shot off, not too much you can do, but time is ticking away. And speaking of not too much you can do, Ajax have beat us at our own stadium, but it won't matter because our 2-0 advantage gives us enough to get in to the final of the Champions League. We are going to the final. I can't believe it, man. I'm going to go forward one day just to find out if it will be PSG, just to confirm it. But I can't believe this. I've genuinely put the recording on expecting us to get knocked out by Juventus based on the way the first leg went. I had no clue we'd win. I know we had a home match to turn it around, but I just didn't think it would go like that. And Tuchel admits we didn't deserve anything. Good on him, Tuchel there. I'm going to ask Sergio Gomez, you can rest. You know what? There's no big game for a little while. Rest up. £10 million. We qualify for the Club World Cup with Aberdeen. Finances, there's now £70 million in the balance. Incredible stuff, man. I actually can't believe it. Let's have a look at who's going to win in this game against PSG and Manchester City. I feel like we already know the answer with that 4-0 advantage, but you never know. Let's just get through all of this. There's some players that we're scouting for you. We're scouting a lot of players, as you can imagine. But here we go. Manchester City, PSG. And the end result is going to be... It's going to be Aberdeen PSG in the final. Oof. Man City beat them, but it will be an Aberdeen PSG final here. Didier Deschamps leading the likes of Kylian Mbappe in their team. Who else have they got in their starting lineup? Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Galen, Kimpembe. Oh, it's a very nice side, isn't it? They've even signed Jamal Musiala and Vinicius Jr. What a team they've got. Eric Dyer as well they've gone for. Can't tell you why they've done that, but you know what? Fair play. Hopefully he ends up playing in the final and we might be able to beat them. It's really going to take a lot. The draw pitches the riches of PSG against the modest budget of Aberdeen. We are playing at the Bernabeu out in Spain, obviously a very historic stadium. I imagine a big chunk of the Scottish population will be out there in Spain to backers, but oh my God, cannot wait for that. You can see we're going to play Inverness and then the game after we'll play PSG. Can't wait for it. That'll be next episode. Absolutely shocked that we've even got this far. Let's be honest, it's going to be 10-0 PSG, but we'll be happy to be there, won't we? If you have enjoyed the episode, smash the like button for us, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.